Let me tell you about my Auntie Blodwyn. She's a lady not to cross. Flowered dress, old school penny, and a bag of mint imperials. Makes tea thick like tar, and denture cracking cakes. She know what's best, disregards the rest, and makes me wear a vest. Blodwyn, we love you. Blodwyn, we do. Blodwyn, we love you. Don't you know it's true? Blodwyn, we love you. Blodwyn, we do. Blodwyn, we love you. Don't you know it's true?
Oh, a cup of tea. I need this cup of tea after the day I've had. And my Auntie Blodwyn, and she's worked for a long time now as a volunteer down in the charity shop on Gwenwelly Road. But I discovered today that she's been taking samples from items in the charity shop and sending them off to an online DNA laboratory for testing. You know, one of those companies that take your DNA then tell you that you're 3% Viking and belonging to a dentist in Sweden. And also, Blodwyn's now fallen out with her best friend, her long-time best friend, Delilah, who manages the charity shop, as well as the rest of the staff at the charity shop, which is, in all fairness, unusual for Blodwyn because she likes to fall out with people on a one-to-one basis. But anyway, it all started several weeks ago when a consignment of clothes from an house clearance down in Pontypridd was handed into the charity shop, and in these clothes there was a pair of leather trousers. Men's leather trousers, tight leather trousers. Blodwyn looked at them and claimed to know immediately what they were. She told me they were stage trousers. She said the type of trousers, she said they had an aura about them and you could see that they'd seen Las Vegas. And then Blodwyn concocted this theory that they'd once belonged to Tom Jones. Delilah wasn't listening to that, and she wanted to put the trousers on the miscellaneous rack for sale, but Blodwyn wasn't having none of it, and she said that they should be on eBay, where they would start a bidding auction with women over in America bidding crazy amounts to own this part of what Auntie Blodwyn describes as Welsh cultural musical history. And it's been a bit of a rigmarole ever since. Now Blodwyn, Auntie Blodwyn told me she was examining the trousers and she found a stain in the area that she called the trouser interconnection area, the general trouser interconnection area, and so she took a swab of this stain and sent it off to the DNA laboratory. Yeah, the one that, as I say, that will tell you you're 3% Viking and belonging to a dentist in Sweden. And anyway, a few weeks later the test came back, and the results, it was a big complicated letter. Auntie Blodwyn showed me the letter. It was a big complicated letter. There were slides in there, there were graphs in there, there was all this information in there. But the upshot of it was that no human DNA could be extracted from the sample that was sent. But however, the DNA laboratory did manage to identify the stain as being carrot juice, which gave Blodwyn even more credence to her theory that these trousers must have once belonged to Tom Jones. Because Auntie Blodwyn claimed that Tom Jones wasn't above using stagecraft, and she said that he often used to put a carrot down into the general trouser interconnection area to create what she called dramatic stage geometry, because she said the bulge from the carrot would drive all the women in the audience absolutely wild. And that was it. There was no change in her mind from that. Anyway, cut a long story short, Blodwyn went into the charity shop a few days ago, and she was going to see Delilah and decide that, she confronted her with this evidence about the carrot, which Delilah wasn't having none of it. She said it was absolutely ridiculous. So they had a bit of an argument, and they fell out, as I say. And the rest of the staff also fell out with my Auntie Blodwyn, because when Auntie Blodwyn feels slighted, well, it's not worth talking about. But anyway, the last few days now it's been really awkward. Every time Blodwyn's come over of an evening to watch the soaps with me and my wife, she's had a face like thunder and she's not happy and she keeps on mumbling about how short-sighted Delilah was being, that she missed a chance to bring in a lot of money for the charity shop because they were holding a genuine piece of cultural Welsh musical history. So today I'd had enough, and I said to my Auntie Blodwyn, I said, look, Auntie Blod, I said, this can't go on no further. We're going down a charity shop. You're going to apologise to Delilah, and you're gonna make up. Blodwyn wasn't happy about that, but in the end she conceded, and so we got our bus passes out. We got on the bus and we travelled down. We went to the charity shop, and we went in, and Delilah and Blodwyn looked at each other. First of all, they never said anything, but then I broke the ice by saying, oh, good afternoon, Delilah, I haven't seen you for a while, how are you doing? And then that sort of broke the ice. And Blodwyn, she asked Blodwyn how she was doing, and Blodwyn said she's fine, and she inquired about Delilah's health, and she said she was fine. And then Blodwyn said, look, I don't want to fall out over a pair of leather trousers. Well, she didn't actually say that. She said Tom Jones's old leather trousers. She gave that to Blodwyn. And Delilah agreed. And then, so Blodwyn looked around and said, so where are the trousers? And Delilah said, oh, someone bought them this morning for £4.50. I have never seen such a look of horror on my Auntie Blodwyn's face. She fell to her knees. She looked up at Delilah beseechingly and said, oh, why, Delilah? And now, that wasn't the worst of it. All the way back this afternoon, Auntie Blodwyn's going on about, how short-sighted Delilah is for selling those leather trousers for £4.50 when quite possibly they once belonged to Tom Jones. And Blodwyn's going on, the carrot proves it, and I'm really annoyed now. So I said, look, Auntie Blod, I said, look, Auntie Blod, I said, I can see what you're saying, that Tom Jones often used carrot stuffed down his trousers at the trouser intersection area for dramatic stage geometry, as you call it, I said, but it's a ridiculous theory. I said, it's absolutely stupid, there's no way this happened. And so, lemon curd. And so, Blod said that the only way to settle this argument was a scientific demonstration, and so I agreed with her, not knowing what was going to happen next and why I allowed her to talk me into it. I just can't answer that question. But anyway, she decides to prove that a carrot strategically placed in the trouser intersection area drives women wild, and so she persuaded me to put a carrot down my own trouser intersection area, and we went into the co-op. Now we're walking up the frozen food aisle, and as we get up there, Mrs. Elkins is bending down into one of the freezers. She's got the door open and she's getting some fish cakes, and there was a bag of wall sausages which were on offer, I believe, so I might go back and have a look at them if I'm not banned. So anyway, me and Blodwyn are walking towards her. She looks up, she smiles, but all of a sudden her eyes sort of look at me and then they go down to my trouser interconnection area, and then suddenly she screams like she just seen a ghost and runs off. Now I'm a bit slow on the uptake and I don't realise what she's seen, why she's running, so I run after her. We go around the top aisle, we swing down by the biscuits, and they see, Garibaldi's were on offer. I noticed that as I rode past. I glanced at them as I went past, and they got 35% off. So I'm going to definitely, if I'm still allowed in the co-op, go back and get some Garibaldi's. So anyway, Mrs. Elkins is running. I'm running after her. She's screaming, "Be Jesus, be Jesus, be Jesus!" I'm going, whoa, what's wrong, what's wrong? Next thing, Tom Coggins grabs hold of me, the store detective, and wrestles me to the floor. I've just got to hope the CPS don't press charges.
Blodwyn, we love you. Blodwyn, we do. Blodwyn, we